Hi, everybody. I'm Missi Matthews, and welcome to the Training Camp Wrap-Up Show presented by UPMC Health Plan. A beautiful Sunday here at St. Vincent College as the Steelers return to practice. Max Starks is going to join me in just a few moments, but we want to head down to the field as practice has concluded to talk to Jonathan Warden. Jonathan, take me back to Friday night, the game, and what happened in terms of coming back and looking at the tape with coaches.
Oh yeah, it was just a day of business coming in, locking in on the things that we need to get better with as far as honing in on details to project us to come out with a win. Unfortunately, Friday we came up short, but that's part of the game. We come back and we hone in on the details and we come out and perform better next week.
How do you feel like you are performing personally, not just in that game? There's going to be another one coming up on Saturday, but also in training camp and transitioning from practice field to stadium.
Yeah, personally, I don't try to look in as it for a personal aspect. I just try to hone in and see what we could do better as a team, how I can push the next person or one of the next 11 men to get better, because football is is the best team sport there is. So one man can't dictate the win or loss of a game. So it's all about just coming out and helping our unit get better to make the best outcome that we can make possible.
I know you can't see it, but we're looking at some of the highlights from Friday's game. And Max, being an ex-offensive lineman, wanted to know what you saw from those guys specifically on the touchdown.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
No worries. We're looking at some of the highlights from Friday. What did the O-line do, in your opinion, to help get things going, especially in that second half?
One of the things that stuck out in the second half, I'm sorry, is that what you said? I couldn't hear the back end.
Yes.
Yeah, so the second half that stood out was definitely the younger guys getting in, contributing, from the lineman standpoint all the way to the skills. Day Edwards, he came in and he held down the running back room. That's something that we try to stick together as a camaraderie. No matter who's out there on the field, we don't want to skip a beat, whether that's from Najee, the starter, all the way down, to our rookie, Day Edwards. So, it's just coming in and just honing in on those details that we've been trying to instill all camp and just be the best unit that we could be possibly out there in the field and, potentially be the best running back group in the world.
All right. Thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the well, actually, the day off is not till Tuesday. My days are screwed up. Practice again tomorrow. It'll be an early one. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. Now joining me up here on set is offensive lineman, Super Bowl champion Max Starks. And my days are screwed up. I don't know why. I know it's Sunday, but for some reason I can't get these days right this week.
And the schedule changes, right? I mean,
True.
during the week we have mornings, and then, of course, on the weekends it's an afternoon. And today was an hour later than normal. Even when Wolf and I were on air, we were saying, practice at 1:55. They're like, no, it's at 2:55. We're like, what? so it's completely understand. We're in the preseason as well in this process. But, no, it was a good day today. I'm glad we got to talk to Jonathan Ward. He's been doing some great things in camp. And like you said, he had a big 20-yard run in the game. So he was doing some really nice things, especially in the second half, like you said, when they settled down and stopped, quote unquote, what Connor Hayward said, shooting ourselves in the foot.
Right. No, absolutely. And, I think, too, he had a touchdown today in 7 shots. The defense did win 5-2. But as you said, definitely you're noticing him and going, okay, almost every practice.
Well, and there's good depth in this offensive line. I think we kind of look at kind of the offensive line. We look at the receivers, tight ends, quarterback room being brand new, and we kind of forget about the running back room because we know Najee and Jalen are your 2 bell cows, but the depth behind them, and Jonathan pointed out not only him, but what Dejon Edwards or Day Edwards, is, and then also Aaron Shamplin. Like, Shamplin has some really nice plays in the game. So when you say we got 5 really good running backs who can run and produce in the game, that's a good problem to have. But I think we overlook it because we have that comfort of knowing Najee and Jalen are going to come out there and tear and wreck up shop.
And as you can see, all the players down on the field talking to family, friends, signing autographs, and have to say just how absolutely great the weather was today. It was not 90. Everyone wasn't sweating just standing there. And I'm sure for the players, they didn't carry their pads today. But you have to assume tomorrow the pads will go on.
Oh, pads will be clapping. I mean, because, listen, for Mike Tomlin, there's things that he did not like, and you heard it in his press conference.
Yes.
So he's going to want to go exercise, quote unquote, those demons of the past and put it behind them and turn the page. But tomorrow's practice, I expect the physicality to be there, and I expect them to start prepping and getting ready to make sure they don't have the same mistakes in the first game going into the second game.
What did you see from Russell Wilson today following the game on Friday? Coach Tomlin said that we should expect to see him in the game.
Reps and more than one with the ceremonial handoff and then
Right.
out of the drill. Like him actually leading a series with the one unit. That was awesome to see, the comfortability and him just getting back into the mold of playing football. Because once again, as we saw in practices with Justin Fields, like practice is great, but the game is a whole different speed that you got to get used to. So getting Russ out there is going to be, I think, paramount for the team moving forward in this kind of dress rehearsal second game of the preseason, just so he can get a couple of series and just see how the body feels. We know what the mind is like, and we know what the work ethic has been in the process, but it's going through the drills of feeling the speed, feeling the movement, getting the mental reps now coming into physical where you have to speed yourself up to a certain degree to get ready to perform and, of course, build chemistry with your wide receivers.
Well, and we should mention, watching Russ during the game on Friday, full uniform, helmet on, listening to the plays, armband. I mean, he was locked in.
Yeah.
He was mentally preparing as if he was about to go out there. And I think a few times you kind of do a double take like, oh, wait, is he going to go in?
Yeah, you wondered that. I mean, he went through his whole pregame routine just how he would for a game, and you go through all the paces because I think it's important that as many mental and physical aspects that you can get into the game without being in the game makes everything run smoother when it is time to get in the game. Because I think this has been fortuitous for him to kind of just sit back. He's been in a more of an advisory role. He's allowed Justin to kind of learn, which I think has been really important for Justin. And if you need him, I feel like he's going to be ready because of all the extra reps he got in camp. But now it's getting Russ up to speed. It's making sure that he can make those plays as George Pickens. He can throw to Van Jefferson. He knows what they like, Calvin Austin III. And the list of guys that he's been working with individually on the field to figure out them personally, but now it coming and being practically applied in the stadium under duress of a regular game simulation.
We know that Troy Fatano did not practice today, neither did Keanu Benton. What did you see from the O-line since you got to go down there today and be up close and personal with your guys?
Well, I just saw guys kind of working, right? I mean, you see them just being more methodical, being very specific. I think some of the things that I saw in the game, not only from the sideline view, but when I went back and watched the film, just a little bit of technique things. I think the speed for Zach Frazier, right? He was a little quick on some of his double teams. Him kind of slowing down and understanding placement of guys with whatever the scheme is. Because, if you're running a play, and here's where I put my football hat on. You're running a play between the two guards. So those are the two A gaps between the center and the guard on either side. If you're running a play there and you have to go up to that middle linebacker that's off the ball and you've got a guy on one side or the other, you can hang a little bit longer to make sure that guard gets underneath him and then work up. I think he was just so quick to get up to that second level, it left a hole behind him. So I think those are like the little things that you see. But from the physicality standpoint, I thought all of the offensive line were as advertised. You saw a very physical nature in them. Now the technical stuff kind of now bleeds in, and I think that's what we saw today, as I was down there on the field, was kind of pay attention to the more nuanced things, working on how do I have a double team? When do I get off? When is it too much time to hang with your partner? And when does he have to overtake them? So those are things I look forward to. Obviously not having Troy out there,
Right.
To work on some of his technical things. We'll see when we get him back. But I think for the guys that played and the guys we're expecting to play come Saturday, I thought they were very in tune to trying to fix some of the mental mistakes and physical mistakes they had in the game.
There's Najee Harris. You were talking about him a little bit earlier. J.R. Plumlee, he caught 2 passes today in practice.
Yes, he did. Listen, the more you can do, right?
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, you're not cracking the top 3 of the quarterback room right now as a rookie with all of the experience that's there between Kyle Allen, Justin Fields, and Russell Wilson. But what we did see, he was returning kicks. He's in the special teams game. Made a tackle in the game. Had a nice tackle assist there. So I think for John Rice, I call him John Rice because I'm used to him from Ole Miss and UCF. So for Plumlee, I think the biggest thing is where can you be? Because he's an exceptional athlete. Like you don't run for 1,000 yards in the SEC by accident at the quarterback position. So he has some very dynamic and explosive movements that I think if you can figure out a way just to use him. Quarterback's an additional asset that can come over time, but making an instant impact on the team now, he's trying to figure out where that is. And the willingness of a quarterback, think about this, willingness of a quarterback to play multiple positions. Tim Tebow wouldn't do that.
Right.
And a lot of other quarterbacks wouldn't do that, but his willingness to do that is something that's pretty awesome to see, and he's a great young man. So I really like the fact that he's getting in there and just trying to figure out where he can fit in.
He has a baseball background, home run derby tonight. I mean, if Russ
Big moves.
participates, he wins, right?
I would think so very easily, but like you said, dark horse. Plumlee could come in because I mean, let's face it, the last 2-year champ is not here anymore.
That's right.
So it's a vacant championship, like a vacant belt that can be taken. I would love to see if Russ is going to do that because he used to do spring training every offseason
Right.
with the Mariners and with different organizations. He'd come out to Arizona to Cactus League, and you'd see him out there. So it will be very fun to see that aspect of it and get to report back about it tomorrow.
All right, final thoughts. Anything else from practice that stood out to you today?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the majority of health that came out of the stadium. Obviously, like you said, not seeing Benton, not seeing Fautano on the offensive line. I think some guys are still nursing some stuff. You saw some guys kind of go a little slow at practice today. Hopefully getting some time off, getting a little more treatment, because the best you were going to feel was the day you checked into camp. So
Right.
everybody's dealing with nicks and bruises. So as long as guys continue to participate, I want to see in this full padded practice with Russ, all the offensive linemen out there. I'd love to make sure Steve Malo doesn't get a vet day, so I can see how him, Nick, James work in the center with Russ under center, how he feels, and just go through the process of being comfortable and talking it out and making sure the communication is clean for them so they can start progressing and solidifying as a unit.
All right, Max, thanks so much for your time as always, and thanks to everybody for watching. Practice tomorrow at 10:30. You can watch training camp live with Max and Mike starting then. Thanks for joining us.